Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we'll be looking at NBA Power Rankings for the week of November 13th. We don't have a lot of changes, but there were a few high jumpers, so without further ado, let's get right into it. At the 30th spot, and easily the worst team in the NBA, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers. At the 29th spot, we have the Chicago Bulls, and that Zach LaVine and Lauri Markkanen duo will be deadly. At the 28th spot, we have the Phoenix Suns, and Devin Booker is kind of team carry right now. At the 27th spot, we have the New York Knicks, probably will become the 30th ranked team sooner or later this season. At the 26th spot, we have the Atlanta Hawks, who are waiting for John Collins to come back. At the 25th spot, we have the Dallas Mavericks, who really need some players to wake up. Dennis Smith Jr. has been very underwhelming this season, as well as DeAndre Jordan. At the 24th spot, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they have finally traded Jimmy Butler. Finally. At the 23rd spot, we have the Orlando Magic, one of the biggest teams size-wise, as in centers, in the league. At the 22nd spot, we have the Brooklyn Nets. The loss of Caris LeVert will be huge for this team, and it's pretty sad. I will talk about them later, but it's pretty sad because they were one of the most entertaining teams right now. At the 21st spot, we have the Sacramento Kings, who are starting to come back to earth after their extremely crazy start to the season. Alright, so let's talk about the Brooklyn Nets. They've had a very good start to the season, mostly due to Caris LeVert's amazing performances. He was having a Victor Oladipo-esque season, but last night he suffered a severe injury to his ankle or foot. It actually came out earlier today that it was a dislocated ankle. I'm pretty sure that's what the injury was. As I said, this just came out today. I won't show the injury out of respect for him, but it is everywhere on the internet. Also, I don't really suggest you watch it because it was pretty graphic. He was someone I loved watching, and in my opinion, the Nets were one of the most entertaining teams to watch before this injury. But I wouldn't doubt the Nets yet because they still have Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, Allen Crabbe, yes I said Crabbe, Joe Harris, and DeMarre Carroll. All role players who will see an increased role in the absence of Caris LeVert. D'Angelo Russell will also thrive with less offense, but I think one guy to keep your eye on is Rodion Kurucs. He was the 40th pick in this year's draft, and I'm a huge fan of him. Yes, he is a very raw prospect. Yes, he is unproven, but with very little left on this team, Kurucs should get an increased role, and I personally think he will thrive, but again, he is a very raw prospect. So let's move on to the 20th spot through 11. At number 20, we have the Miami Heat, who are really in need of another scorer. At the 19th spot, we have the Washington Wizards, who are the ugliest team to watch right now. It's clear that the Dwight Howard situation is pretty bad, and their chemistry is just off the charts horribly. Also, I predict there will be some big-time trades at the trade deadline involving this team. At the 18th spot, we have the Detroit Pistons, and their lack of wings is showing right now as Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond have cooled off. They really don't have any wings, and it is apparent when you watch this team. At the 17th spot, we have the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, they're so boring. Half the guys on that team are above 50 years old. At the 16th spot, we have the Los Angeles Lakers, who will eventually get their feet under them, I hope. I mean, we've been saying that for a few weeks. I bet they will, because it's a LeBron James team. At the 15th spot, we have the Charlotte Hornets, who continue to impress, and it's clear that their hot start was not a hot start. It will just be a hot season in Charlotte. At the 14th spot, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder, who need Russell Westbrook, but Dennis Schroeder hasn't been that bad. At the 13th spot, we have the Los Angeles Clippers, who have tons of huge wins. We'll talk about them later in this video. At the 12th spot, we have the Indiana Pacers, still my X factor to come out of the East, even if they've lost a few games. At the 11th spot, we have the Houston Rockets, who maybe have waived Carmelo Anthony. We don't really know. Alright, so let's talk about the Los Angeles Clippers. They've had so many big-time wins against big-time teams. They beat the Warriors, the Bucks, the Rockets twice, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Clippers are the last team you want to see in the playoff series, even if they aren't contenders. They have extreme depth that was utilized by one of the best coaches in the league in Doc Rivers, who is able to pull off different lineups all the time. They also have two physical freaks of nature in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Boban Marjanovic. Yes, the Clippers aren't contenders for an NBA championship, but they are a scary team to go up against. And now let's go on to the top 10 for my NBA power rankings. At the 10th spot, we have the San Antonio Spurs, and I don't even know why they're good. It doesn't make any sense. At the 9th spot, we have the Philadelphia 76ers, who traded for Jimmy Butler, but did give up Robert Covington and Dario Saric. At the 8th spot, we have the New Orleans Pelicans, who have been sliding ever since their extremely great start. I mean, it doesn't really make sense why. At the 7th spot, we have the Boston Celtics, who are really struggling big time. At the 6th spot, we have the Utah Jazz, who are finally starting to get in the swing of things and are finally starting to become that team that we expected them to be. At the 5th spot, we have the Denver Nuggets, who are really an inconsistent team due to their youth. At the 4th spot, we have the Portland Trailblazers, who are extremely high climbers this week, but are they contenders? We'll talk about it later. At the 3rd spot, we have the Toronto Raptors, who did nothing wrong. It's just the 2nd spot, the Milwaukee Bucks beat the Golden State Warriors, and they have been on a tear. And at the 1st spot, even though they lost to the number 2 spot, I still believe the Warriors are the best team in the NBA. So let's talk about the Portland Trailblazers. They have been on a tear since the start of the season, but I'm not surprised. They have always been a good regular season team, but is this the year we put our trust in this team? I'm having a real problem doing that because I've been a huge supporter of this team, especially last year when I said there's a chance that they could make it to the Western Conference Finals. Of course, if you didn't know, they got swept by the freaking New Orleans Pelicans without Boogie Cousins. They got swept and it wasn't even close. I thought they were legit, but they let us all down. Plus, they didn't really make many changes to their team this past offseason, with the most notable one being Seth Curry. So, I don't believe in this team, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. As we all know, I mean, the Portland Trailblazers have always been a great regular season team, but really don't show up in the playoffs. I hate to say it, but they're in the no man's land of the NBA, where they're just good enough to be contenders, but they're not good enough to tank. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think this team is legit, or am I right? I mean, I feel like I'm right because I'm always right, but I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like on this video. If you like all my content in general, NBA news and power rankings, and even a story, like a big time story on Sundays, then leave a subscription. Of course, as I said before, thank you guys for watching, and see you soon.